This is Michelle Morgan, and I'm going into part 2 of my final head-to-toe assessment. Again, I'm going to do my hand washing for my patient, and my patient continues to be Stephanie for me today. And we're going to move from the thorax and lungs to the cardiovascular. In this section, we're going to be inspecting. I'm going to come down here at her level. If we're in a hospital situation or in a doctor's situation, I would have her in a gown to where I can actually have more access to her skin, but for modesty's sake, we are going to keep her fully dressed. First thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to inspect her carotid and her apical pulse. So I'm going to feel for the carotid, which is very good on either side. And as I'm looking for any distension around the jugular vein and the carotid veins here. You never want to palpate them together. You palpate them separately. I would also palpate the apical pulse, which I would go underneath her breast area here. And with larger women, your chested women, you're going to have to lift up and go in and under. Given we're not in a hospital situation, I'm just going to state it. I'm not actually going to do that to her here. Okay? And then we're going to palpate both the pericardium and the base. And then I'm going to listen. And we're going to go the aortic, pulmonic, tricuspid, and mitral. We're going to do that with the bell. You can also listen to it with the diaphragm, but you can hear a little bit more with the bell. And then down to her apex, which is also where your PMI is. And there are 3 different positions that you can listen in. Upright, which is what we're doing now. You can do leaning forward, and when they're lying left laterally. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is I'm going to have Stephanie lie down. And I am going to do an inspection of her abdomen. Okay. Again, if she were in a gown, I'd be looking directly at her skin, looking for any kind of masses, her muscle tone, anything like that. Now, Stephanie is pregnant, so I am not going to do the deep auscultation, or palpation of her liver and spleen, given the fact that she is pregnant. So I will just state that for the purpose of this video. That is something that I would do normally, but for this, we're not going to do that, okay? So I will take a listen to her fields. Actually, yes, I'm sorry. I'm going to auscultate. I'm going to go from right and listen to all 4 quadrants. And I'm listening for bowel tones in all areas. And if this was a person who had hypoactive bowels where we weren't hearing tones, then you would go up to 5 minutes on the listening of those tones. And she does have tones in all different areas. The next thing I'm going to do is percuss. And I'm listening for dullness.
Go back to that one.
It's quite hollow on this side. But over here it's quite dull, which would make sense because Stephanie has stated that she's having some issues with constipation. And if you have bowel in your abdominal area, you are going to hear a dull sound. So that is very normal for the situation.
What about that hollow sound?
You don't have a liver, darling.
So, okay. And then I'm going to palpate. Again, I'm looking for any kind of masses, anything like that, and to make sure that everything is symmetrical. I would also have listened for the renal arteries on either side, and for over the aortic, and just listening for any loud, turbulent sounds, any indications of aortic aneurysms or anything like that. So, and she does not have anything like that. And like I said, I am not going to do the deep palpation on Miss Stephanie because she is pregnant and I don't want to put her through that. The next thing I'm going to do is, because she's lying down, I'm going to check her hips and the symmetry of them, which they are quite very good in line. And then we're going to do the range of motion of the hips. I'm going to bring out, in and down, up, out, in and down. And we're going to pull her down, her dress down for modesty's sake here. Okay, and then I'm also, as I'm doing this, I'm palpating the temperature of the skin. I'm looking for any kind of edema in her legs and her feet. I would be holding my thumb down for 10 seconds and then looking to make sure that there's no edema, which she does not have. And her hip range of motion is good. So everything is symmetrical. All of her movements are